No candidate is going to be perfect. We just have to choose the one who can get us closest to our destination. Uh-oh, I wanted to do the thing, but the other party got in the way. Please vote for me so we can try again. Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. It's okay, you tried your best. Can't win them all. Or win them permanently. I'll vote for you again. We, whichever group is least in danger by the current status quo, have to put our oxygen mask on before we can help anybody else. America first. We should vote for the pro-America First candidate. Who's with me? I'm so sorry, guys. I know that you voted for me because you wanted me to solve this specific issue, but the other party got in the way again. You're never going to believe this. I did everything I could. We just could not make it work. Please, please, if you care about this issue, you will vote for me again, or you'll vote for someone else in my party next time. Please. I don't know. You've already used the same excuse twice. Do you even care about your fellow American? You and everyone you love is going to be in danger if you don't vote for me or someone in my party. So what's it going to be? You're going to put you and your loved ones and everyone you've ever cared about in danger? Or you're going to do the right thing and vote for me and my party? Okay, I don't want me or the people I love to suffer. Are you actually going to solve the problems this time? No, but my opponent is going to be worse than me, so vote for my party anyway. Or else. You know what? Your fear tactics worked again. Okay, I'll vote for you. Here's the long and short of it. They are waiting for a politician to save them. And not only are they waiting for a politician to save them from another politician, but they are also 100% sure that their votes directly affect whether or not they can be saved. Now, I'm not saying not to argue with them. If you want to argue with them, feel free, as long as you're not insulting them, because people who are insulted don't actually change their minds. All I'm saying is that if you do choose to get into a disagreement about politics with somebody, please do so publicly. Somewhere there is an audience. Why? Because chances are there's going to be somebody in the audience lurking around the conversation who could potentially be inspired to have their minds changed by the way the conversation unfolds, and especially by your unwillingness to insult the other party. However, if you're just having a private one-on-one conversation with someone, no audience in sight, it's probably going to be a waste of your time, because the person you're arguing directly with has already decided they're not interested in what you have to say. They're just being argumentative because they're threatened by the fact that someone was willing to disagree. Here's the thing, the people that you're arguing directly with literally believe that you disagreeing with them means you want harm to come to them and the people they love. Now, even though you know that's not really your intention, of course, that's not how they see it. People have this filter between their eardrums and their brain that tells them what they think you said, not what you intended, and absolutely nothing about how well you can articulate your point is going to change that. That's why using logic to explain why both parties don't have their interest at heart is probably going to be a waste of your time, unless you're doing it for an audience lurking around for entertainment. Because I don't know about you, but there's been plenty of times when I've watched people on the internet argue back and forth as a source of entertainment for myself and accidentally learned something from it. As for the people who have already decided who they're going to vote for, keep in mind that they were manipulated into their choice by fear. And fear is the most powerful manipulation tactic. And also, please remember that this has nothing to do with intelligence. Fear is how you manipulate people. Well, really, how you manipulate people is by finding out two pieces of information about them. Number one, what are they afraid of? And number two, what do they want? What do they desire? You can use those two pieces of information to manipulate people, and that's what both political parties have been doing time and time again, year after year. Once someone has been manipulated into a certain behavior, it's like they have puppet strings attached to their bodies. And you, using your logic to talk them out of it, isn't going to be helpful. Unless, of course, you're arguing with them for an outside audience who's watching the conversation. So if you've ever watched any of my TikTok videos where I'm arguing back and forth with someone, it's not because I actually expect to change that person's mind. It's because there are fence sitters watching the conversation, and I want them to see what it looks like when a level-headed person who is arguing with nuance comes up against someone who has very clearly been manipulated. It's a show versus tell situation. I want people to see what manipulation looks like and how an argument falls apart when logic gets involved. Like I said, there's a filter between people's eardrums and their brains, and that filter is telling them what they are ready to hear, not what you intended for them to hear. And if you're arguing about something as divisive as politics, chances are what they're ready to hear is that you are stupid, crazy, or evil. And it doesn't matter what actually comes out of your mouth, their brains are going to interpret it as proof, as evidence that you are stupid, crazy, or evil. What they are not ready to hear, though, is that their leaders are not coming to save them, that their leaders can't be trusted to care about their best interests. Because they're not ready to hear that, nothing you can say is going to suddenly make them realize that's the case. They're going to have to hear that from someone they know, like, or trust, and if you're a stranger on the internet arguing with them, it's probably not going to be you. However, guaranteed there is someone in their field of influence who will watch your video, who was already sitting on the fence, and who now has the tools to have the conversation because they were able to see you communicate with their loved one with a level head and without insulting them. Regardless of whether you are arguing with someone who is pro-Harris or pro-Trump, their responses are directly related to how much they feel like the other party cares about their problems. Republicans feel like Democrats don't really care about them, and Democrats feel like Republicans don't really care about them. Now, was this by design? Was this by manipulation? Yes, of course, but they're not ready for that. So just keep those things at the forefront of your mind when you're having those arguments, because it allows you to have empathy for them, and it allows that empathy that you have for them to bleed through your words and let them feel it coming off of you. It's not going to feel like you're just giving lip service to the ideas when you actually come into the conversation with an understanding of how they got to where they are opinion-wise. You're not just rage baiting, that you actually have thought about this stuff and that you're not just spewing nonsense. The goal isn't to change their mind. The goal is to set the stage for future experiences that will inspire them to consider changing their mind. And I know, that's a long game, right? But you're just planting seeds. You're planting seeds by asking questions in a non-accusatory way that just get them thinking about how they came to their conclusions, and is their opinion really cohesive with all their other opinions? Does what they believe still make sense to them? A lot of us have made opinions in the past, and even though we've updated, we haven't realized, we haven't been able to put into words how much things have updated until someone asks us a question that makes us realize, wait a minute, I don't even believe that anymore. That doesn't even make sense to me anymore. But one thing is for sure, you're not going to be able to have them question what beliefs they have and why if you're going to be accusatory and if you're going to be insulting. When you're arguing with Trump supporters, what you need to know about them is that they're voting for Trump because he says it like it is. He says what he thinks. And he's also not pretending to have empathy for people that he doesn't have empathy for. Whereas Kamala Harris voters are the opposite. They're voting for her because she's really good at being fake. She's really good at telling them what they want to hear, and she's really good at pretending to have empathy for people she doesn't have empathy for. Your go-to line when you are having these difficult conversations with either Republicans or Democrats voting in the upcoming election next month can be something like this. All I ask is that you hold your favorite candidate accountable. I'm not trying to get you to change your mind. That's not my goal. I just want, whenever they get in office, for you to ask yourself, are they doing what they said they were going to do? Are they keeping their word? And are the excuses they give you when they don't keep their word going to be good enough for you to vote for that party again next time? And then bow out, because you've planted the seed, your work there is done, and you can move on in the conversation. Okay, final thoughts. No matter who you're arguing with, understand that both parties, literally both parties, use fear as a manipulation tactic to get people to voluntarily attach themselves to puppet strings. As someone who has come outside of that and now sees both sides of the aisle for what they really are, have patience and empathy for the people who just aren't there yet. The thing is, you can't force people into questioning their beliefs. That doesn't work. And even when you think it does work, that's you being manipulative. And the last thing you want to do is join the party of people who are manipulating to get someone to do what they want. So just hear them out, plant seeds, ask questions, and don't insult anyone. Because remember, insulting someone's character, intelligence, appearance, all of these types of insults are the #1 way that you can let other people know you don't actually have a good argument for anything you're saying. See you at the polls.